I'm the Vice President of Customer Experience here at Passageways, and happy to welcome all of you to join us on a session on the new dashboards as we focus on driving performance and tracking and measuring results. I'm happy to introduce also Jeff Weinrach, who will be joining us today as a presenter. He is the Strategy Alignment Officer for Kirtland Federal Credit Union, and this particular group has joined the Passageways family, actually joined us a few years back in 2012, used their portal originally to manage their core conversion project, and the portal, their hub, has now been launched to be utilized in several different areas. And so Jeff will be taking you through some of the ways that they use their dashboard tool as, again, they drive the performance and measure the results within their solution. So before we get started in taking a look at some of those specific components, what I would like to do is take just a few moments and talk about the impact of the dashboard tool. So when we take a look at this particular component, certainly, first and foremost, we all understand the impact and the value of dashboards. When we take a look at dashboards, probably one of the best examples that we can all relate to is the dashboards that we have, or the dashboard that we have in our car. You know, as we're focusing on the direction that we're moving, or a particular destination that we are headed toward, the dashboard will help us understand the important components that indicate our ability to get there safely and on time, and certainly, you know, as we anticipated. Are we gonna run out of gas? Are we driving too quickly that may be dangerous? Are we not going quick enough? What are the other indicators that will give us, you know, a good understanding of whether we're going to get to our destination on time, and again, in the way that we originally anticipated. As we take a look at dashboards and you consider the impact that dashboards have to your respective organizations and to your teams, this is another really phenomenal way to consider the impact these visuals have for us in a very real manner on a day-to-day basis. We all have respective goals, and we have objectives that we need to meet both at an organizational level as well as you know, focused on respective team levels as well. Just a quick apology. I just realized that the screen was not being shared, so you should all be able to see the screen here at this point in time, and we should be all set and good to go. Sorry for that there. We'll go ahead and pick things up as we continue to take a look at dashboards. When we look at dashboards, there we go. Happy Wednesday to all of you who may be experiencing the same day that I guess I was just having. All right, so let's step back for just a quick moment and reconsider, as we're talking about dashboards within your portal, you know, what impact these can have on the success of your solution. So again, just kind of stepping back, we all have respective goals. We have goals at an organizational level. We have goals at respective team levels. And as we look at the focus that we have as an organization for any given point in time, whether it's a year, whether it's a quarterly or a monthly basis, potentially even weekly or daily, there's also other timelines or timeframes that may be important or incorporated if we consider projects, for example. But dashboards have a really great opportunity to help us increase our focus and really drive specific results based on whatever the measure is that we are tracking. Often these can be translated directly into key performance indicators. What dashboards do is it helps to distill some of the data that is being tracked or measured in these different respects and put it into a manner that is more digestible for employees to see. This can translate into increased alignment within respective teams and, again, increase that focus. So you very quickly can see, are you on track or are you off track? And where is the gap that you may need to fill? The other component that's really exciting about dashboards is certainly this is a tremendous opportunity to increase the engagement employees have, not only around the goals that you're focused on, but also around the specific, you know, team objectives here, or your portal overall. So when we consider first and foremost the visual aspect, one thing that's really nice is this is a tremendous opportunity to really just pick up some positive momentum and energy around the goals that you have. One of the things that we've taken a look at here, even at Passageways, is really rejuvenating the dashboards we leverage within our teams. We can see that the impact that that has, as we look at respective goals. Anytime some little component is reached that leads toward, positive direction in those goals, everyone is taking a look at the change and the impact that has on our dashboards, which creates, again, a lot of excitement, a lot of energy, and positive momentum in moving forward, which is certainly what we're all looking forward to. When we take a look at dashboards, Passageways has recently updated the tool that you have access to within your portal solution. One of the things we're going to take just a quick moment to do is just talk about some of the recent improvements that have been released through this tool. For those of you who have the dashboard tool today, if you have not yet updated, certainly we've got information that is available in our Help Center. You can reach out to your Customer Success Manager or to our technical support team, and we can help you guys get updated. The things to focus on as far as some of the differences or what you can look forward to in the 4.2 version is updated visualizations. And you'll see some of these as we take a look a little bit further on today. We are certainly excited to have state indicators available, basically giving you color ranges to indicate what you're going for as far as maybe what is under par or what is exceeding the expectation or goal that you have. We have the ability to see the data that is incorporated into the charts or the gauges that you are reviewing, and you can see the history for that as well. There's kind of a streamlined approach that we've taken with the data connectors, and some of the groups that are using SQL connectors or data sources are able to do that in a more effective manner. So we're really excited to see some of the ease of use that has been incorporated into this tool and demonstrated even with things as easily as your portal databases starters. And we're happy to help you with all of those things. Your data can now be updated in real time, and the tool is just extremely easy to use. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and hand things over to Jeff. We're going to talk a little bit more about the impact the data has, and then we'll take a live look at some really great examples. So Jeff, go ahead and take it away.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share our experiences with you, and we're really excited about the Dashboards 4.2. We think that additional functionality will be very helpful to us because, as you all know, having relevant data and being able to communicate that clearly is critical for performance. So we're very excited about that. We know that data is important. The adage here is what gets measured gets managed, and for us, the dashboard provides an easy way for our employees to see how we're doing. Before we had our portal, we would send information out to them, we would put it in newsletters, whatever it was internally, but the dashboard provides that nice real-time look at our performance. The employees want to know how we're doing. They have a vested interest in our success, obviously, and it comes up many times in staff meetings where managers are meeting with their employees and they say, well, let's take a look at how the credit union is doing and how can we impact that? What is our role in driving some of these performance measures that Stephanie had been alluding to? So, and I guess the other thing I would say about that first bullet is that a lot of times we are drowned in data, but we're starved for knowledge. We measure things, we have a lot of data, but we don't spend a lot of time analyzing it to drive our decisions. And so I think the dashboard is an excellent way of taking data and putting it in a useful form so that it's more easily analyzed and driving decisions. In terms of communication, as I said, having the portal itself has been a huge communication improvement for us. The employees like to see information about the credit union, whether it's dashboards or upcoming events, whatever it happens to be, and it's ongoing. It comes up automatically when they come in the morning. news and events, whatever it happens to be, and the dashboards are a piece of the portal that employees are interested in. Now, I think part of the challenge is that there are some people that just are not interested in looking at data. I mean, we all have different personalities, but to have it out there makes it much more easily accessible. And driving future decisions, that data-driven decision-making is critical. We don't want to make decisions in a vacuum. We don't want to make decisions on how we feel on any particular day. We really want to be using data and information to drive decisions. Part of that is reviewing past performance. Part of it may be reviewing competitors' performance, but we want to make sure that the data is kind of compelling us to go in a certain direction based on its analysis. So it's critical. I'm glad the dashboard module exists, and glad to see the improvements. We were really excited about the updates to the dashboard. Next slide. So the way we started kind of putting the dashboard module together is we view performance at the credit union in kind of three legs to a stool, and these are the three here: financial performance, and I would include in financial performance just organizational sustainability, kind of that long-term view of our organizational health. And then we have the employee engagement: how motivated are they, what's their morale level, are they excited, are they motivated, are they engaged, and then of course member satisfaction. And each one of those is important in and of itself, but they're not independent, they're interdependent. That's kind of what we're showing here with kind of how the circles intersect, and everything that we do falls under one or more of these kind of legs to the stool, and the way we approached the dashboard was to reflect key performance measures and results in each of those areas, and that again would be used to reinforce to the employees that we're not just focusing on one of these, we're really trying to have a balanced view, and for those of you who are in a similar business and look at it a similar way, balancing these three legs is a challenge, but when you have results and data that reflect that things are improving or are performing at a high level in all three of them, it at least reinforces that you have a balanced approach. So we always want to keep those three things in mind as we look at this. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and share the portal. So we'll do that now. So everyone should see this portal. Is that correct?
Yeah,
I'm assuming
yes.
Okay. So this is not the real portal. This is a kind of a mock-up view, and the only reason is because the results are not for public consumption, but this gives you a sense of what our home page looks like. Before we look at the dashboards, just a couple things. This little island here at the bottom is a very important initiative to us. It's our Pay for Performance and Performance Management Initiative, and we want employees to go there and look at that, and the results of how we are doing with our Pay for Performance and Performance Management Initiatives are in the dashboards, but we want to put on the home page areas where they can go to see certain initiatives that the dashboards will then reinforce. So I wanted to point that out. The other I wanted to point out really quickly is this: we just started a quarterly internal communication survey. They would click on that part of the scrolling banner, go into the survey, and answer the questions, and that is being used as our leading indicator for another very important key performance measure, which is how we're doing with internal communication. So we always try to use the home page to get them into areas that get them thinking about data and results, and then we can go look at the dashboard. So on our page, we have a dashboard tab here in the middle, and we kind of use that three-legged stool as a way to get into the actual dashboards. And again, this is just a reminder to everyone that this is how we view performance, and that the goal is to have data suggest that we're performing at a high level in all three. If we are doing well in two of the three, then it means that our strategy needs to shift a little bit to drive performance in another area. So it's just a way for them to kind of get into the data mode. So we'll go ahead and open this. Now, the way we set this up, and after the dashboard update was done, we're still in the process of shifting over to a lot of the different functionality. So a lot of this was pre-dashboard 4.2, but you'll get the gist. We just start with a little island here that just says if while viewing the dashboards, if you pass your cursor over a bar, you'll see the value. I don't know about you all, but we find that this isn't inherently obvious to people, but it's a great feature that you pass your cursor over a bar and you'll see the result for that data point. And again, I think that's helpful for the employees to see. So taking that three-legged stool approach, we set up 3 islands of tabs, each one showing certain results. It was our view that the financial results should be the ones to look at first. I think that I wouldn't say that more employees think about financial results than the employee or the member results, but ultimately when we're looking at sustainability, it's the financial results that really drive our organizational health. So we just made a conscious decision to have that first, then they would scroll down and see the others. We have a number of tabs, each one with a dashboard. This first one, retail cross-household ratio, is something that is really important to our pay for performance plan, especially for our member-facing employees, how they can drive cross-selling, which is an important measure. And again, these results are just made up for the purposes of the webinar, but you get the gist. We also look at return on assets. And again, these are organizational results. So we started the dashboard development with organizational results in mind. We're in the process of doing it similarly for departments and projects, but these are results that all employees have an interest in. And as I said, during the staff meetings, that's often reinforced. So we have return on assets, which is obviously important. And again, these are just fabricated for the sake of today. We look at loan growth rate. And I should mention, we put a description under each title to help the employees understand what it is they're looking at. This is a nice simple sentence. So this just says, this is a year-to-date percentage reset to 0% at the beginning of each year, and the goal for the year is broken out as mortgages, credit cards, and autos with percentages. It's just a way to reinforce to them, if they happen to be browsing the portal one day, just to give them an idea of what it is they're looking at. So we do that for each dashboard. Membership account growth rate, again, that's also reset to 0 at the end of the year. Total assets, asset growth rate, net income, and operational efficiency. Those are the 8 that tend to be most focused on by us, by our board of directors, our leadership team. There are certainly others, but as Stephanie pointed out, I would say these are what we would call our key performance measures under that financial leg. Then we go down to the other 2. The one on the left here is our member-related results. Member satisfaction is maybe the one that's most commonly used, but we also have other results that are equally interesting. And sometimes in these descriptions, we'll give it a little bit more information. So, for example, here we say this shows the last 4 years of member satisfaction, the percentage rating for the very satisfied top box. So a lot of our employees understand that when we do surveys, we either look at the top box or we look at the top 2 boxes if it's, let's say, a 1 to 5 scale. So it's just clarification for them to understand what these results are indicating. We also look at member loyalty, which is, I think, a little bit more advanced than looking at satisfaction. I think in some cases, when either members or employees respond to questionnaires and are asked about satisfaction, they can be satisfied, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're loyal. Someone else comes along that has a better product or provides better service, and they move their business. So loyalty is a little bit more about how committed they are to the credit union. So that's another indicator that we look at. We look at membership value, which is kind of a reflection of how well we are doing providing value back to the members. And this is something that we track regularly. It's kind of embedded in our business model that Our credit union serves primarily the military here in Albuquerque, and our business model is to make sure that we are providing them with value. And this is not through a survey. This is an objective measure, but it uses a lot of member-centric type data as a composite to say how well are you providing value to members. And a lot of these measures, this one is one of them, that the results here are percentiles. So in the fall of 2013, we were in the, again, if this were us, we would have been in the 96th percentile from all the other credit unions that are measured through our benchmarking group, which is the Radin group. So, these are just samples. And then we have Net Promoter Score, which many of us use. It's kind of like loyalty, but it's more about how likely are you going to advocate this organization to others. And so these are just 4 different reflections of how we're doing in kind of that member-centric circle. A lot of it is their perception of how we're doing, but some of it is also like the membership value score, objective measures of our performance as it relates to our members. The third island over here are 3 of our key performance measures for employees. I'd mentioned the quarterly employee communication survey that we're doing. This here reflects the annual survey results. Again, these are, it's important to show the annual results because they are benchmarked. So we can look at how well we are doing compared to other credit unions. And again, we reflect that in the little description here that says there's a benchmark of 45%. When we do it internally every quarter, we're just doing it ourselves. We're not comparing ourselves to others when we do those quarterly surveys, but they certainly provide us with leading indicators as to whether we're making progress in this area. And this is a communication satisfaction is a strategic objective for us, so we want to make sure that we're reflecting how we're doing and so the employees can see. And as you can imagine, employees often will go to the employee-related results just out of curiosity, if nothing else. They want to know how we're doing in that area. We also look at employee motivation. Again, we just let them know what the benchmark is, and these are, in this case, annual results. Again, these come out of our annual survey. And then similarly with employee engagement. The employee results are almost always through our annual survey because they are benchmarked. And as I said, going back to communication, the more we are transparent about showing these results and letting employees see these are our real results, we're not hiding anything, it gives them more ownership. And when they're in staff meetings, these results are talked about. Not just, here's how the credit union is doing as an FYI, but what can we or what are we doing to help improve in areas where we need to improve. And I think the appeal of the dashboard, to me anyway, is it gives them an overall view. They can see everything. And there are areas where we need to improve. There's areas where we're doing very well. But in order for the employees to be part of the solution, it's important for them to see the same results that everyone else is looking at, the board and the leadership team, because we want to make sure that they understand how things are. And so to me, that's why the dashboard is so valuable. Are there any thoughts or questions just about the setup itself?
Right. So, and thank you for everything that we've taken a look at so far. What I want to do before we move on to anything else is just open it up for any questions that you have. So just as a quick housekeeping note, in your GoToMeeting panel, you should have 2 different options. One is to raise your hand if you have a question that you would like to present to Jeff and have him address here regarding the setup that they have with their dashboard tool or any other component that he's touched on as far as how they're extending that to employees or whatever those components might be. Please feel free to raise your hand, and I can go ahead and unmute you and you can ask that question. For those of you who may not be calling in on a landline and not have a microphone connected to your computer, your laptop, certainly feel free to indicate your question. There's a question icon in the panel as well. And if you go ahead and hit on that, you can type in your question. I can ask that on your behalf. So as we take a look, any questions from anyone in the audience today so far? And I'll just give that kind of a quick second here. Just to even reiterate with what we have seen in the immediate moment. And I know we've shared this with you in the past, Jeff, but I think this is just really a phenomenal illustration on how you can translate these data points into meaningful information for employees that can be used on a very regular basis to continue to drive the direction that you're moving in. So just a fantastic utilization here, and again, we really appreciate you sharing that with us. All right, it does look like we have a question, so let me take a look at this here. One question that we actually have has come in from the team at Alabama Credit Union. Really, when you mouse over a point on the graph and you look at the information, it appears that there's a few different pieces, the number, the date, the branch, or what you're looking like. Let's see. So maybe I can ask this question here a little bit for clarity. Are you trying to understand, Michelle, with the data points when you hover over? So Jeff, can you maybe hover over one of the data points here? Are you trying to understand what that is showing? Maybe we can kind of address that question for you, and if that's inaccurate, go ahead and just give me an indication that you're looking for some other piece of information. So maybe can you touch on, Jeff, how that is used as far as the specific data points?
So if everyone can see this, so I'm in the net income dashboard, and if I just put my cursor over one of the bars, I'll see both axes. I'll see this is Q4 2014, and it was 300 million. What I like about this is that if I'm just looking at this graph, okay, I can see that there's an upward trend and then it resets and so on. But if I'm really interested in what's the value, what's that data point, all I have to do is hover over that. This is, as I understand, this is an automatic feature in the dashboard module. You just place your cursor over the data, over the bar in this case, and my guess is it works with other, charting types, that when you pass your cursor over it, you actually will see the data point. And we want to remind people they can do this. I mean, there's a tendency for people to log in and just look at something. But this scrolling feature and being able to see the value of these data points is, I think, an additional benefit to how the dashboard module works. And that's true for any of these. Just pass your cursor over a particular bar and let it sit, and it will come up with the X and Y coordinate for that data point.
Great, thank you for that. Thank you for that. One thing to keep in mind too, as you take a look at some of these particular items, again, our team has been really excited to extend this recent update on the dashboard tool. So if there's other components that you would like to be able to see in conjunction with dashboards, our team, as always, is looking for that feedback so we can continue to make this the most effective tool for you. So just kind of a quick note for all of you there. Any other questions at this point before we move on? And at this point, I think we are set. Just so you know, if you do have any questions as we continue to move forward, please don't hesitate to go ahead and push that through the GoToMeeting panel, or just raise your hand and we'll definitely come back and give you an opportunity to ask those questions. Okay. Are we all set?
We're all set.
Okay.
So you're going to take take it back.
Yep. Give me just a quick moment here. Fantastic. All right. Are you all seeing my screen now here?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Jeff.
So as I mentioned, the next step for us, other than to start making some changes based on the new dashboard updates, is to drive these dashboards down to department level and also project level. And I think that there's certainly a lot of interest in using dashboards and ways like it to show how we are doing, drilling down through the organization. A lot of these organizational measures are the result of department level work. And so the notion of being able to see results, and again, with transparency in mind, to see results at department level and for key projects that we're doing, a lot of times once we see that a project, let's say, isn't working to our expectations, we don't need to wait to see the results of an annual survey. We can say, okay, this project needs a little improvement based on its results, so we're going to work on improving it with the idea that when that annual survey is done, we will already have made the necessary changes. So that's where we are right now, is a lot of the departments and projects already have results, but they're not on the portal yet. So we're in the process of developing kind of similar modules to what we showed you with our three-legged stool, but at department levels and at project levels. And the goal there is to show the alignment that, project A, B, and C will help us drive, our organizational performance results in X, Y, and Z. So the notion is to actually cascade them so that employees can see relationships. There is impact to what every single person does here, and so the department level and project level dashboards will kind of help to kind of reinforce that, and I think will even improve their engagement more than it is. Next slide. So, just kind of in summary, data, at least to me, is raw and usually not useful in a raw form. And what I love about the dashboard module is it takes raw data and it puts it into a useful form so that we can make informed decisions about what we need to do, what we need to do differently, what we need to change, where we're doing well. And I think that's the real value of having this nice, easy to understand view of all of that data. And there's people here that love looking through reams of reports, but for a vast majority of us, putting it on a nice graph, easy to understand, it just makes it that much more valuable. And for us, having it on our portal is just a significant advantage. We don't have to worry about sending out emails with attachments or putting it in newsletters, even though we will do that. It's in a permanent repository. And I think the only limitation we have is that we're not going to be plotting 20 years worth of data points. We're going to take a practical look at how's our performance been in the last 2 years, 3 years, 6 months, whatever it happens to be. But the dashboard allows us to do that. We archive everything, but we still want these dashboards to be meaningful. And I think that having that ongoing place for employees to go, whether it's staff meetings or project meetings, whatever it happens to be, we want this to be an ongoing resource for our employees and our managers.
Fantastic.
And that is
fantastic.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I appreciate the opportunity to share this with you all, and look forward to working with you on our respective portal journeys.
Wonderful. And again, we're really excited to have you here. I do want to take maybe just a moment. Some of the gauges or the charts specifically that you spent some time highlighting, Jeff, just really indicate the specific metrics that you are currently capturing. So you just shared that you have some plans for some things that you would like to do moving forward. Those may not yet be set up as you're thinking about what are the specific measures that you're going to track and how you want to display those. So just to illustrate and maybe show off a little bit more of some of the updates that have been incorporated into the tool, I want to maybe just take just a quick moment and maybe highlight a couple of those other items if you've not yet seen them. So as Jeff shared, we saw quite a few phenomenal examples of data that are being leveraged through the use of charts. And there's all sorts of ways you can display those visually. These are just a couple of the different indicators. The one that you're seeing here is basically the state indicator that I had shared before, where you can put a color association onto a gauge that will give you an indication of, are you moving in the right direction or not? Are you kind of on par for that goal? Are you behind? Are you ahead? Are you exceeding? What does that look like visually? A really great quick indicator. One of the other things, and we can see different examples of pie charts. This is a question that was kind of asked as we were going through the session as well. What are some of the different types of visualizations that are available? So a lot of different ways that you can illustrate your data. One of the things we've been excited about with the update of the tool is to give you more flexibility to choose a visual indicator that is in line with the type of data that you want to share or that you're trying to display for any respective team. So just a couple of different examples. And as we take a look at this particular page, I had mentioned before one of the components of the update gives you more flexibility as far as how you access the data. So when we take a look, these particular tools are actually all tied directly into the database that is part of the portal in this particular installation. In fact, what you're seeing here is data that is being pulled from the portal that our team here at Passageways uses. Some of these numbers may be really exciting. Some of them may indicate some things that we need to do here. But it's really great because anytime you look at these particular gauges, the charts or whatever they might be, you will see real-time information pulling directly from the database in a live capacity. So one of the options is available now is to tie into those databases, and it can be done in a very easy manner. And in fact, we'd be happy to share with you if you want to go ahead and start moving in that direction and get some of those set up. So that's one thing to kind of keep in mind. You can certainly have the data pulled directly from a spreadsheet that you maintain. That can also be associated and stored on your portal. And then the third option that you have is to manually update the data that you're looking at. One question that was raised, Jeff, as we take a look at the examples that you shared is to understand how you're managing the data as far as the information that is seen. Can you talk a little bit about where that data may be coming from and how you incorporate it into the charts that we looked at just a little while back?
Sure. So we use internally we use a balanced scorecard as kind of our tool for capturing key performance measures and strategic objectives. And we, for those of you who've used a balanced scorecard, it's basically something like a spreadsheet that has objectives, measures, targets, and trends, basically. And so what I had been doing until we received the dashboards update is basically updating the balanced scorecard at a minimum quarterly. Some of our key performance measures are quarterly, some of them are semi-annually, and then those survey results are annually. So we update the scorecard at least once a quarter. And anytime there's an update to the scorecard, I will go in and update the dashboards on the portal. So at a minimum, every 3 months, I'm doing portal updates to those dashboards. Some of those results, though, we're in the process of transitioning to having them be automatically updated through other systems. But right now, it's a manual process. People here will say that I can live with data every minute of every day, so it doesn't. I enjoy actually going in and updating results and taking a look at them and so on. So right now it's a manual process, but that's going to be transitioning over, and it's based on pretty much any time we update our balanced scorecard. And this also gets down to departments and projects because they also have scorecards that cascade. So whatever department I happen to be looking at, they're going to have their objectives, measures, and goals that are aligned. So the implication is the dashboards would be updated as often as their department level or organization scorecard has any new data to be entered.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right. And again, I'll just kind of highlight a couple of those other examples as we were, kind of highlighting where that may come through. So if you're wanting to get started in pulling data, directly from a live source, and you're kind of looking for some examples to get started, those are some of the things that our team would be very happy to help you with. Again, just tying directly into your portal. One of the things that we have shared a couple of times, so this may, this may not be new for some of you. For those of you that it is, we're happy to share more details. But our team, our customer success team, as we work with your group and look to help you get the most out of your portal investment, have started to offer executive business review processes. It's really kind of an approach to identify new ways to help establish or reinforce your strategic alignment within your portal and your organization. And one of the things that we'll be able to take a look at is establishing those key areas that your portal can help drive, and then establish any gauges or charts that can be created and added to your pages, tying in again directly to your portal database. So a couple of examples that you might see would give you really quality information as far as some of the employees in your portal and how it may be used, the specific traffic that you're getting around things that are most popular pages, islands, whatever those particular components are that will help you see what is being used and how. We want to give you a really good indication on what that might look like, so that you can certainly start to track that and measure the effectiveness as we continue to move forward. So again, our team is really excited to help in that process. And if you are interested in getting started with an executive business review, all you need to do is reach out to your customer success manager, and we are happy to have those conversations. Certainly, as we take a look at the dashboard tool and some of the gauges or charts that you may want to establish, our hope is that what we took a look at with Jeff today may provide some really phenomenal insights into similar metrics that you are currently tracking in your organization. And the setup that we saw today that Kirtland Federal Credit Union has been utilizing may be a really great way to expedite your dashboard update or the implementation of that tool for your team. So please do not hesitate to let us know how we can help in any way, shape, or form. Again, you can reach out to the tech support team, take a look at the help center as far as the update information or any of the specifics, or reach out to your customer success manager and we'll help you, move that piece forward. So with that, just a few more items just to kind of wrap up for today. And again, a quick note, if you have any questions as we move forward, please don't hesitate to continue to ask those in the panel or to raise your hand. And I'm happy to come back to you at any time. Just so that you all know, we will be sending a recording of the presentation today out to everyone as an attendee and anyone who is not able to attend the session as well. Certainly all of the webinars that we conduct here at Passageways are also made available through our website. So I'll show you what that looks like before we wrap up as well. All right. So when we take a look here, again, the dashboard piece is something that our team is extremely excited about. We're going to be looking forward to lots of new ways that we can help you leverage that tool. The next organized time that we'll have to hit the dashboards tool actually is coming up next month at our annual conference, which is Powwow. It's going to be back in Indianapolis this year, May 12th through the 15th. This is really kind of the epitome of when we facilitate in-person collaboration between the Passageways family members. And we will be having a session specifically at Powwow going over the new dashboards tool and providing some hands-on training there. We have another session where we'll be digging into different utilization or different ways that this particular tool has been extended from members of the family. And we'll also be digging into, kind of a rejuvenated session on what Purdue Federal Credit Union is doing with their strategic planning matrix, kind of a similar approach to what we saw today with Kirtland Federal Credit Union. So hopefully you will be able to join us. For those of you who are planning on attending but not yet have completed your registration, just a quick note that the rooms are booking up soon. So please jump to our website, www.passageways.com. You can get all Powwow information, and hopefully we will see you there. So with that, I think we should be all set. And if there are no other questions, then I would just like to take this moment again and sincerely thank you, Jeff, for your time and sharing your best practices with us. And certainly, thank you for the creative way that you have extended your dashboard tool. And we look forward to many new exciting things to come from your team as you extend that through other areas of the credit union.
Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
All right. Everyone else, have a wonderful Wednesday. Happy Wednesday from the Passageways family, and look forward to the next time. Thanks, everybody.